Hello friends, let's discuss current affairs. In this week's first question, we have the reappointment. We have a question about the reappointment of the Russian Prime Minister, and his name, as you see in the question, is Mikhail Mishustin. Mikhail Mishustin. Um, Russian president, as you know, is Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin. And, to bring in a little perspective, Russia, it's the world's biggest country by area. It's about 1.7 crore square kilometers. Ladies and gentlemen, that would make it more than 5 times bigger than India's, geographical area. Now, India's area is about 32.87 lakh square kilometers, which would let's make it 33 lakh square kilometers, and Russia's 170 lakh square kilometers. Now, as far as the Prime Minister is concerned, this guy has come back. This is Mikhail Mishustin, and Vladimir Putin has also been re-elected as the president of Russia for a new term. Now, what about these countries here? These countries, this is a Baltic country. Latvia is a Baltic country. They have a prime minister called Evika Silina. Evika Silina. Okay. I want you to become familiar with one particular term called Baltic. Baltic nations. There are 3 Baltic nations: Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Okay. Now, these 3 countries are generally anti-Russia and pro-Europe. So, these 3 countries have always had this fear that Russia tomorrow, after annexing large parts of Ukraine, could turn its attention to us, towards us. So, we could be next in line, for an invasion by Russia. Now, the fears, whether they are real or imaginary, is something that only the future could, tell us. But it's important to know that the Baltic nations of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are anti-Russia. Ukraine has a prime minister. We all know the name of the the president, Vladimir Zelensky. But it is important to know the name of the prime minister. And the Ukrainian prime minister is Denis Shmyhal. This is the Ukrainian prime minister. Belarus is a pro-Russia country. It's a pro-Russia country. And Belarus's president is Alexander Lukashenko. This guy is a dictator, a very, very dangerous man, perceived to be a very dangerous man by the West. And, this Belarus is also called White Russia. What is it? White Russia. That's a nickname. Serbia is a pro-Russian country, except for Latvia, except for these 2. All 3 are basically, anti-West countries. These 3 are anti-West countries. Serbia, though it's a member of the European Union, is anti-West. And the president of Serbia is Alexander. The spellings between these 2 change, and also the fact that the English spelling of Alexander is radically different from the spelling here. Okay. That's why I didn't write there, so that, I did not bother you with the variation in spelling. Just remember, it is Alexander Vučić. That's a president. He is an outspoken, critic of the West, especially the European Union. So, from here, let's go to the next one. This is about Mount Everest. Nepalese Sherpa, Kami, Rita, has climbed the Everest, the world's tallest peak, for a record 29th time. This is a world record. No one's climbed the Mount Everest more than Kami Rita Sherpa has. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a bit about Mount Everest. This is the world's tallest peak. It is 8849 meters. It used to be, when I was in school, it used to be 8848 meters, but recent calculations have put the number slightly higher. It's now said that it's actually growing. It's becoming taller. And where is it? It's on the border between Nepal and China. Yes, it's on the border with Nepal and China. If this is the Everest, my friends, this is Nepal. On the other side is China. You can actually check this on Google Earth. It's a fascinating view. It's a fascinating view is what Google Earth would provide of Mount Everest. And if you go with the 3D imagery in Google Earth, you will actually can take the mountain from the base to the top, basically. Yeah. The first Indian, we all know the names of the two guys who climbed the world's first two guys to climb the Everest, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. But do you know that the first Indian to climb the Mount Everest was Avatar Singh Chima? Avatar Singh Chima. Avatar Singh Chima climbed the Everest, I think, if I remember it correctly, in 1965. 1965. And the first Indian woman to climb the Everest was Bachendri Pal. Bachendri Pal. I think you are familiar with this name. India's ace woman mountaineer. She is said to have climbed it in 1984. 1984. So the first Indian man was Avatar Singh Chima in 1965, while in 84 it was Bachendri Pal who became the first Indian woman to climb the Everest. The first global woman, the world's first woman was a Japanese named Junko or Junko Tabi. Okay, this was, I think, 1975. 1975. Japanese. First Indian, woman in the world. So this is where I can add value, because some questions by itself, this question has nothing that we could discuss about. If we go just by the choices, okay, the choices have nothing to add. So I just brought in a bit about Mount Everest. The third meeting of the eminent persons group on future directions of the BIMSTEC took place at the BIMSTEC Secretariat in Dhaka. Now, what's BIMSTEC? Ladies and gentlemen, BIMSTEC is the Bay of Bengal. Remember this? Bay of Bengal Initiative. B for Bay of Bengal, I for Initiative. MS is multi-sectoral. So, Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. I went slow there. Let me repeat for you. Bay of Bengal Initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. It, ladies and gentlemen, comprises 7 members. What is it? 7 members. And if you look at this is, of course, this is where I am in Hyderabad right now. You would find that India is 1 member. Then we have India, Nepal 2, Bhutan 3, Bangladesh 4. Yeah. Then we have Sri Lanka here. Okay, 5. 6 is Myanmar. 7 is Thailand. So 7 members goes. Okay, I wrote the number here. Let me write SN. So these are the 7 members. Let me repeat. India. Okay, we come from the bottom. Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand. So 7 members. And who is the Secretary General? The guy who runs the show on a day-to-day basis is an Indian diplomat called Indra Mani Pandey. Indra Mani Pandey. This guy is the Secretary General of BIMSTEC. Fair? Now, what about the choices here? Just to make this clear to Thimphu is the capital of Bhutan. It's the capital of Bhutan. Naypyidaw, Myanmar's capital. Male, Maldives' capital. Though it's not a member of BIMSTEC, we have a choice here. Male. Bangkok, as you know, is the capital of Thailand. Okay. So from here, let's go to the next one. Aman Sehrawat has become the first Indian male wrestler to qualify for the 2024 Summer Olympic Games in Paris. Now, my question is not, I will not focus on this. I will focus on something else. In 2024, the Summer Olympic Games will be held in Paris. In 2028, they will be held in Los Angeles. Where is Los Angeles? In the United States. Those of you who watch web series, crime web series, especially police shows, American police shows, you would find LAPD and all that. That's Los Angeles 2028. And 2032 is going to be The games are going to be hosted by the Australian city of Brisbane. What is it? Brisbane in Australia. So 2028, Los Angeles in the US, and 2032, Brisbane in Australia. Okay. Chalo. From here, the another one. Padma Shri awardee Surjit Pathar passed away recently. He was a noted Punjabi poet. This surname comes from the name of a village he was where he was born. But more importantly, while I was going through his biography and everything, the Wikipedia note on him, I found, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, his works are all in Punjabi. And as you know, I can't really pronounce Punjabi words. But I would give you one thing. I found that he is one of the finest poets that Punjabi literature has produced, and he's one of his most famous works is Sur Zameen. We have Sar Zameen, but this is Sur Zameen. Sur is music, music land, music country or music land. Sur Zameen, lovely name, isn't it? And I guess that should be it, my friends. Not something that I'm, as someone who reads a lot of non-fiction, especially all strategic affairs, everything, I'm not greatly familiar with Punjabi literature. Yeah. Who won the Grand Chess Tour Special Bet Rapid and Blitz 2024? Remember, this Grand Chess Tour comprises 5 tournaments. 5 tournaments. The first started in Poland. This one was in Poland. What's the capital of Poland? Warsaw. This was held in Warsaw, the capital of Poland. Okay, guys. This was won by Magnus Carlsen, world number 1, Norwegian player. What you need to understand is that it had 9 members. I think 9 players. Of these 9 players, 9 were invited, and only 2 Indians were invited. Of these 9, 2 Indians were invited, and one is, of course, you all know Dommaraju Gukesh. Dommaraju Gukesh, who is going to challenge Magnus Carlsen for the world title next year. And the second is Pragnananda Ramesh Babu. Ramesh Babu. I was writing short here. Ramesh Babu is Papa's name, his dad's name. Pragnananda, this is this guy's name. Gukesh is the name, first name, surname is Dommaraju. Okay. This is the Telugu guy, Tamil guy. So the names vary a bit here and there. But anyway, in some places you will find that, first Ramesh Babu comes and then Pragnananda comes. Does not matter. Or we can call him Prag. Yeah, he's usually called Prag. And that's Gukesh there. So only these 2 have been invited to all the tournaments, the 5 tournaments that comprise Grand Chess Tour. So the first one was held in Warsaw. The last one will be held in sometime in August, my friends. So in between, you would have other tournaments as well. Fair? The National Technology Day of India is celebrated always on May 11th. Now, why this day? Because on this day in 1998, let me tell you, 1998, India tested 3 nuclear devices. India tested nuclear bombs in Pokhran. You all know Pokhran. Pokhran is a place in, it's a place in Rajasthan. So, on May 11th, India tested nuclear devices and nuclear bombs at Pokhran test range in Rajasthan, and 2 days later, May 13th, another 2 devices were tested. So 5 devices were tested over 2 days on May 11th and May 13th. But remember one thing, the Vajpayee government, which was the first time it had come at that time, okay, it was there for about 13 days or so. So it actually decided to test these weapons. And ladies and gentlemen, please know that, it was Prime Minister Vajpayee who named this day as National Technology Day, Rashtriya Vigyan Divas. So that's about it. But remember also one thing, another thing rather, that it was not on, in 1998 we tested our first nuclear bombs. The first time we tested our nuclear devices was on 18th May. 18th May 1974. That's a day. 18th May. Okay, not on in May 11th, 1998. No, 24 years, a week short of 24 years is, when it was earlier is when this was tested by Indira Gandhi, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. I don't like to say then Prime Minister, previous Prime Minister and all that. I simply say Prime Minister. So, not much to discuss about the choices. We've been discussing these days and everything, but I guess one choice I could discuss is May 12th, which is the International Nurses Day, NURSES, International Nurses Day. Okay, there we go. We have a new, card range called Pixel that has been launched by HDFC Bank. It is India's biggest bank biggest private sector bank by market capitalization, and it's also with the biggest, Indian bank by market capitalization. It's run by a man called, the CEO is Sashidhar Jagdishan. IndusInd Bank belongs to the Hinduja Group. It's run by Sumant Katpalia. The CEO is Sumant Katpalia. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Ashok Vaswani. Coming to ICICI Bank, Sandeep Bakshi, BAKSHI. Axis Bank, Amitabh Chaudhary. I think that's a fair way. Let me repeat for you. Amitabh Chaudhary is the CEO of Axis Bank. ICICI Bank is run by Sandeep Bakshi. HDFC Bank CEO is Sashidhar Jagdishan. Coming to Kotak Mahindra Bank, Ashok Vaswani, and Sumant Katpalia is the CEO of IndusInd Bank. Okay, guys. Okay, who's become the first Indian woman to break in the top 25 of the world's women's singles, table tennis rankings? Our Manika Batra. But who is world number one? That's the only thing I'm going to talk about this. The world number one women's player is Sun Yingxia of China. This is world number one. This, player of China is world number one in women's singles, table tennis champion rankings. Fair? I guess that should be it, my friends. The UNGA has proclaimed May 25th as the World Football Day. Why? As that marks the 100th anniversary of the first international football tournament in history. What was the tournament? The 1924 Paris Olympics. It may surprise you that again, Olympics are going to be held next year in Paris. Okay, 2024. So next year, Paris Games will be 100th anniversary of the 1924 Paris Games. Anyway, football was introduced as a multinational sport in the Summer Olympic Games in 1924 in Paris. So the Paris 1924 Summer Olympic Games was the first time that football was introduced as a multinational sport. Okay. Now let me tell you something here. Since we discussed football, the 2026 World Cup Football Championship would be held in North America in 3 countries: Canada, United States, Mexico. Okay. There we go. So 3 countries will play host to the 2026 event, World Cup Football Championship, Men's Football Championship. Canada, United States and Mexico. Now what about 2030? This will be the first time in football history that the host will be spread across 2 continents. So ladies and gentlemen, this will be held in 3 countries. Okay. Morocco, which is in North Africa, Northwest Africa, Morocco, Spain and Portugal. So these 3 countries will host the 2030 World Cup Football Championship. Okay, guys, I hope you learned something extra there. This is where I come in. Otherwise, you could simply read the question and get to know the answer because it's highlighted in some other color, isn't it? So your teacher is here to share extra stuff. Yeah, this is a good question, just like the other questions were. Okay, India has signed a deal with Iran for the operation of Chabahar port. This is Chabahar port, and see this portion, as you can see, this is Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Oh, sorry, I'll use red here. Pakistan occupied Kashmir till here, and this is Pakistan occupied Ladakh. Okay, Pakistan occupied Ladakh, and this portion you can see here is Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So we'll keep it there. And this is the external boundary of India. This is the true boundary of India, external boundary. And by that logic, ladies and gentlemen, you will find that Afghanistan is also a border state of India. It is. Afghanistan and India share a border of about 106 kilometers. Take a little over 106, 100. Some places you will find 108, some say 106. I rest my case, make it over, a little over 100. Okay. So, why do we need this port? Of course, there are multiple reasons. This is my favorite subject to teach this kind of stuff, but I'll limit myself. Okay. In Pakistan, there is this area here called, there is a port here called Gwadar. What is it? Gwadar. China has taken over this port and it's, it runs the show here. From here, it says that, we don't want to take the Malacca route, South Asia route, where America has a port and our goods, our exports are transported through that. We import a lot of oil and gas through that area. So we don't want that. So we want something secure. So they could get oil and gas like this, from all these places here. And by road, pipelines, everything from Pakistan occupied Ladakh. And this area you can see here, let me clear this and I'll show you something interesting. You see this line here? I know it's a very difficult thing to watch. This area is owned by India, occupied by Pakistan, and given in gift to China by Pakistan. Let me repeat, so you get it right. It's India's territory, occupied by Pakistan, given in gift to China by Pakistan. So there we go, my friends. So by road, it could be transported like this into China. This is China, as you know this. Yeah. This is Tajikistan. What is it? Tajikistan. This is Tajikistan. This is Turkmenistan. This country is Turkmenistan. So when the Taliban, the previous time, when Taliban was in power, we wanted to encircle Pakistan and what better way than to have a friend in Iran, because Iran is Shia. Let me bring in something here. The Iran is Shia, Pakistan is Sunni, and they don't see eye to eye. The Shias and Sunnis there don't see eye to eye. Though the Taliban is Sunni, predominantly Sunni, they are not anti-India. This is something that most people don't get. The Taliban is not concerned about India. The Taliban is interested only in Afghanistan. Only in Afghanistan. So, even today, when we want to send something to Afghanistan, we recently sent 50,000 tons of wheat to Afghanistan. But how did we send? We took this route. Okay, we took this route because the Pakistanis don't allow us to use the overland route. So we send it like this. So we are building, see, if you believe that, the Taliban is anti-India, you would never find the Taliban saying anything against India. And also one more thing, that we have built tons of huge amount of infrastructure in this part of the world. But the Taliban have not done anything against Indian interests in Afghanistan. Okay, it's another story that we don't recognize of the Taliban government there. So recently we signed this, I think in the early part of 2000s, sometime in 2003-4, we signed a deal with Iran to develop this port. So let's see how it goes. And we also have a spy base here so that we can spy on what the Chinese are up to in Gwadar. Okay. I just rushed through this, but otherwise, this is my favorite area to discuss. Which community is India's largest, which country, is India's largest trading partner with a two-way commerce of about $118.4 billion? Look, this is not Government of India data. Trust me, this is not Government of India data. This is data that comes from a global agency. But anyway, let's use this data. This is the deal that we have had. This is the trade amount we have had Okay, now let me tell you something more. Okay, that of this, India's imports from China are $101 billion. You got it, $101 billion. Our exports are just about 17. So we have a huge trade deficit with China. Massive, you see this? Yeah. So 101 minus 17, you have a major trade deficit there. Yeah. So these are our exports to China, and these are our imports from China. Well, now what about United States? United States and India have a total, let me clear this. United States and India have a total trade, according to that rating, that body which came out with numbers, 118.3. Yes, that's a number. Okay, just about $100 million difference. Now, less than that actually. Let me bring in something more. But we exported $77 billion worth of stuff to United States. So we are trade surplus in the case of US. We are trade surplus. In the case of China, we are trade deficit. Okay. So the rest is all, what the, you can say about $40 billion, $39-40 billion. That's about it. Yeah. What? Next week, I'll bring in some data about India's exports and imports. Some real good data, my friends. India and which country took part in the 7th edition of the joint military exercise named Shakti? France and India did that. With France, India also has a marine exercise called Varuna. What is it? Varuna. So India and France have another military exercise called Varuna. With let's bring in one more exercise, just one more choice. What is it? Sri Lanka, Mitra Shakti. What is it? Mitra Shakti. Where the United States and India have Yuddha Abhyas, Vajra Prahar. So lots of exercises there. Not much to discuss for me here. Padma Shri awardee, Biru Bala, Rabha had, was a social activist, and she played a major role in the practice against, in mobilizing people against the practice of witch hunting. Okay. She's dead. And she passed away recently. She belonged to Assam. What is it? Assam. So not much more for me to discuss here, my friends. Okay, just to bring in something. Tripura's Chief Minister is Dr. Manik Saha. He's a doctor, medical doctor. Okay, so Manik Saha, Dr. Manik Saha, S-A-H-A. Which Indian fintech company has partnered with LankaPay to enable UPI payments, Unified Payments Interface payments for Indian users traveling to Sri Lanka? And lots of Indian tourists go to Sri Lanka because it's quite cheap now, especially after what happened in Sri Lanka. Okay, so PhonePe has tied up with LankaPay, and you need to appreciate one thing, that UPI is was created by NPCI, which is the National Payments Corporation of India. What is that? The National Payments Corporation of India. It's a RBI body, and its CEO is a guy called Dilip Asbe. MD CEO Dilip Asbe. It's a Mumbai-based body. Fair. And PhonePe, as you know, is a payments aggregator, and it's oh boy, what is that? It has started by 3 persons: Rahul Chari. Only in the case of PhonePe, I'll give you this information. The founders' names: Rahul Chari, Burjin. Okay, this name is a slightly different name. Burjin Engineer. Okay, and in the end we have Samir Nigam. Fair? Yeah. Cred was started. Okay, let me bring in one more. Okay, Cred was started by Kunal Shah. Name the 7th edition of the joint India-US Joint Military Counter-Terrorism exercise between the NSG, which is the National Security Guard, and the Special Operations Forces of the US. Tarkash. What is it? Tarkash. The NSG, my friends, is headed by Nalin Prabhat. Nalin Prabhat. The National Security Guard is the most elite, special military body, a special military force guarding the most VVVIPs in India, Prime Minister of India and all that. So, Nalin Prabhat is an IPS officer. He is the DG of, the National Security Guard. Okay, which organization has been honored with the Geospatial World Forum Leadership Award for Public Policy Enabling Industry Development. Public policy, but which enables industry development. It is InSpace, which is, remember this, Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. An authorization center. Okay. So, this is a Government of India body created by the central government to promote private sector participation in the Indian space sector. Remember, it was created primarily to promote private sector participation. Okay. And what are the full names of this? Indian Institute of Millet Research, ICMR, Institute of, Indian Council of Medical Research, I am so sorry, Indian Council of Medical Research. This is again for agriculture research, AR is agriculture research, MR is medical research, ICRISAT, this is a UN body headquartered in Hyderabad. This is the International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics. Let me repeat for you. International Crop Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics, TROPICS. Okay. So, which tunnel has officially been recognized as the highest tunnel in India by the International Book of Honor? This is about 13,000 feet, a little over 3,000 meters. And what you need to know about 4,000 meters, what you need to know is this, that this is a tunnel that could be found in the Tawang area, Tawang district in Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. It is the world's longest bi-lane, that is two-way, world's longest two-way tunnel. It's about 12.04 kilometers, make it 12 kilometers. 12-kilometer long bi-way, bi-lane tunnel, my friends. The world's the world's longest actually. I guess that's about it, my friends. There's hardly anything to discuss this. As per the United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, what percentage of the world's coral reefs have been bleached in the past year? Bleaching primarily happens because of certain pollutants and most importantly by the change in surface temperature. The oceanic surface temperature is changing because of global warming and other reasons. So, the life is being sucked out of these coral reefs in our oceans, my friends. The world's largest such coral reef could be found near Australia, off the east coast of Australia. So, if Australia is like this, okay, you would find there is a place called Great Barrier Reef. Great Barrier Reef. It is spread across 3.44 lakh square kilometers. That's the almost the area of Rajasthan, my friends. So, it's so large. Okay. So, okay, who's senior advocate who's recently been appointed the president of the Supreme Court Bar Association? Kapil Sibal, in one of India's most accomplished lawyers. And what you need to know is this, the Supreme Court of India, remember this is what I can tell you, comprises 33 judges plus 1 CJI. 33 judges plus 1 CJI. Okay. So, 34 is the strength, my friends. 34 is the strength. It is the highest court of appeal in India. Okay, which international lending institution has provided a $500 million loan to HDFC Bank to, extend loans to underserved women in rural and semi-urban areas? The International Finance Corporation. The International Finance Corporation, IFC, is one of the 5 bodies of the World Bank Group. 5 bodies of the World Bank Group. Let me repeat, IFC is one of the 5 bodies of the World Bank Group. Why don't you, ladies and gentlemen, find out what are the other 4? What are the other 4s? I suggest you find this. You will have a lot of, all you have to do is to spend 15 minutes. Okay, go to Wikipedia or some kind of website like worldbank.org. Tell yourself, I'm going to spend 15 minutes in learning this. In these 15 minutes, 2 things may happen. 1, that I may not understand everything, and 2, I may not remember everything. Never mind, start reading. Some parts you understand, some you don't. Make note. I always suggest you make notes, basically. So what you do is, you look back. After 15 minutes, you look back, you would find that, you may not have understood everything. You may not be able to recall everything, but you still would have got some basic idea. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what's important. Getting a basic idea, becoming familiar with things. Okay, so the International Finance Corporation is the a private sector, private investment arm of the World Bank. What's it invests in private sector companies and all that. So, for example, HDFC is a private sector bank, isn't it? What about the choices here? Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. This is headquartered in Beijing. It's headquartered in Beijing, which is the capital of China, as you know. It's headed by a person called Jin Likan. Jin Likan of China. Asian Development Bank is headquartered in Manila. Where is it? Manila. Manila, which, as you know, is the capital of Philippines. And it is headed by Masatsugu Asakawa. Masatsugu Asakawa. Fair? That's it. I think NDB, New Development Bank, you already know. It's headquartered in Shanghai and it's headed by Dilma Rousseff, former Brazilian president. Dilma Rousseff. Dilma Rousseff. Fair? What about the European Central Bank, ECB? European Central Bank. It's headquartered in Frankfurt, which is in Germany. Frankfurt, Germany. It's headed by Christine Lagarde. Christine Lagarde, the former finance minister of France and the former MD CEO of the International Monetary Fund. Oh, I made an error there. It should be, Lagarde. That's the spelling, my friends. Okay? I ate up the D, I guess. Okay, with an income of $260 million, in the 12 months gone past, who has been the highest paid, who's the highest paid athlete in the world? Ladies and gentlemen, Cristiano Ronaldo is the highest paid, athlete in the world. As you know, he's an ace footballer from Portugal, and he's also the highest goal scorer in the history of the game. So, also the fact that he has played more games than anyone else, actually. Okay, and he made an income of $260 million, in the last 1 year. Number 2 was this golfer from Spain. Number 2, John Ram is a golfer from Spain. And number 3 was Messi, again, a Spanish-speaking guy from Argentina. He made, this guy made $218 million and this guy made $135 million. I just gave these numbers for you to become comfortable. You don't have to remember the numbers, okay? So, that's a bit about each of these guys. So, let me clear this and let us see what's there. All there is on the screen is thank you for being here.